live, Jenna.
Hey guys, how are you? Welcome to my show. Welcome to my life, where I am talking and trying to conduct business on my better half.
I just have to send this one email.
Trabajo. That's what I always hear. I just have to send this one email or this one text. This is Stephanie.
Hi.
This is, I'll just wait till are you finished?
No.
I feel the love.
So I normally lose Stephanie to work every day, but Stephanie took the week off to hang out with me and the little babies, so we get the pleasure of having Stephanie's, I don't want to say undivided attention because it's slightly divided.
It's always divided.
It's divided. We get her divided attention this week, but in return she gets my sort of divided attention.
You get a larger chunk of it today than you normally do.
So I wanted Stephanie to come here because I want to tell you about our weekend, and I don't want someone to be like, you must be making some part of that weekend up. So Stephanie is my system of checks and balances. She is my holder of the truth. And so when we explain about what our weekend was like, I want people to know. And what I usually do is I start the first 10 minutes with something I've learned about myself based on something that has happened to me over the course of the week. Right? So am I stronger, bigger, faster? Am I smarter, wiser, you know?
I would say that what we learned this weekend is that in some situations, in some crises, instead of making it better,
you can make it worse?
You make it worse.
Me personally?
Yes.
Oh, no. That's not where I was going with this at all.
I actually think that's what we learned.
No. Au contraire, Mosa.
I'm almost positive.
Anyway, basically,
you start the story, and I'll jump in when I need to correct things.
Feel free to say and nod yes if you have children and you understand. Our kids are 1 and 2, basically 1.5 and 2.5, and we decided to take them up to our friends have this amazing lake house, and we wanted to show them the great outdoors. 2 city kids in the great outdoors. Mind you, our 15-month-old had never felt basically grass before. Like when we put her down on that grass, she was more like, hey, and when we put her on sand, forget it. I mean, she like lost it.
They were both horrified.
So we made it up there in one piece, and then, I mean, it's tough with 2 kids. We had a tough time with just we went with 2,700 bags for 3 days. 2,700, not a bag less. We finally got up there and packed. We all shared one room, 2 pack and plays, 1 huge bed, a bag for each of us, and then 2,600, 990
And the truth is,
bags
actually,
for them.
You pack a ton whether you're going for a day or
you're still. You guys know what it's like. You have so many bags, and then it's everything.
How many diapers did you bring?
So only one of our children are in diapers, and we still brought like 3,000 diapers because you have the swim diapers, the overnight diapers, you have your regular diapers, then you have your pull-ups. You have 16 different kinds of diapers. I mean, they're making a fortune off our kids trying to mature into underwear. So we brought that. You had to bring the bottle. Let's quickly jump in the pool. So for adults who have kids that are grown up, sure, just jump in the pool. With 2 little ones, well, you got to put the swim diapers on and the top bathing suit and the bottom, and you have to spray them, and then you do the face, and then you have to pull the hair back. Then you need the swim toys. Then you need the swim, the boppies, whatever they're called. And then you need the towels, and then you need the water shoes. We needed a nap before we ever even got to the lake. That was all the easy part. The hardest part of the weekend, hands down, was when we woke. Oh, and then the kids wake up at like 4:30. So now it's 4:45. We're in our friend's house. 4:35 a.m.
And you need coffee.
You need coffee desperately.
But you can't find the coffee because it's
someone else's
house. So you need to go out and get coffee.
So now you have to mobilize. So you get everybody together, right? What does that mean? That means the kids' diapers changed, the quick bottle, teeth brushed barely, hair brushed barely, us dressed barely. Get everybody together quietly, and then somehow slip out of the house into the car. Don't have the keys. Go back in. Do the whole thing. Still all easy. Turn on the car. We're on low fuel. So Steph says, I'm sure it's right down the street. There's no way we can't find a gas station right down the street.
Can't go wrong.
10 miles later, we've been driving for 20 minutes. It's flashing low fuel. 15-month-old throws up in the back seat. It's 5:15 in the morning.
This is the second time.
Second time.
She threw up recently. Right?
Yes, second time. Well, what are we going to do, make her walk?
Right, I remember
Yeah, first time I was by myself. So now we pull over the side of the road at a Chinese monastery. It was the only thing of anything we could find. So we're at a Chinese monastery. The car's almost completely out of gas. Quinny has now thrown up all over herself. I'm yelling at Stephanie because Waze wasn't working because there were no signals because we were in gosh knows where. It was the closest we'd ever come to like saying, just throwing the towel
I think
in.
it was about the fact that I got to the end of their road and took a left
instead of a right.
And you were upset with me and blamed me for having chosen the left instead of the right.
Correct. Yeah, what she said.
Yep.
Anyways.
Which was very helpful in that moment.
Yeah.
Because our daughter Quinn was covered in vomit.
Right, so now we strip her down so she's naked, and it was freezing that morning. We're up in the mountains and she's freezing. So I take off my sweatshirt because that was so nice of me, right? I took off my sweatshirt, now I'm freezing, but I gave it to her, we wrapped her in it, still had to put her back into the vomit straps in the back of the car.
We're still nowhere closer to a gas station.
Close to a gas station.
Is your hand broken from patting yourself on the back?
Oh, hold on a second, but I did the double pat it. Did you see that? Basically, we're still mad, so we had to Google, it was so old school, we had to Google Sunoco and then the town we were in. I mean,
so old school.
It's so old school.
So old school.
Right?
It's not really that old.
Well, whatever.
I mean.
And it said it was like 6.5 miles away. I don't know anything about gas, but I'm like 6.5 miles away, like we're never going to make it. How many miles a gallon do you get? 6.5 miles? No. And not from the Chinese monastery. If I tell you, we basically ran out of gas, coasted our way into the Sunoco with the gas door open, just saying, yes, yes. The car smelled like a vomit mobile. We were fit to be tied.
You had a complete freak out because you couldn't remember where the tank was.
Oh yeah, then I didn't know if the tank was on the right or the left. Like at my worst moment, why do they have to make it so difficult?
You know it's on the gauge, right?
Yeah.
Yes, but I couldn't find the gauge.
She couldn't even see straight.
I couldn't see. At that moment, we were like blurry-eyed, tired. And you want to know something? Wasn't even 6 a.m. yet. It turned out we were gone for almost an hour and a half looking for gas. We never got coffee. We pulled back in, and they were just waking up. We got back in around 7:30.
You know, there was moments in a relationship when you're married and you realize you're right on the cusp of divorce. I mean, you're right there. You're
I've
right
heard
at the
about
lip.
these moments.
You're right at the lip of divorce. You're butting up against that moment.
Yeah.
I think we hit that moment.
But then we brought it back.
But then we filled up the tank and everything was great.
Then you were nowhere near.
And the toddler cheered up.
Yeah, but that was one of like 5 moments sort of like that we had. We got lost on the way back. We ended up in a neighborhood we had no business being in. And Quinny had a freak out, and we had to stop at the local 7-Eleven while you walked around, and we were, concerned it wasn't the best neighborhood to just, sightsee. Yep. Anyway, what's my point? My point is, this has to be life, right? Because if you engage in a union where you assume that this is always life, like your expectations are too high. That bar better be so low that it's practically underground, because anything other than that, I fear that we're going to constantly disappoint ourselves. And I think the only way for this to work is this way, right? It has to have your ups and downs, and your downs mean that there's an up coming, and your up means, well, enjoy it because there'll probably be a down coming. Now, I don't know everything there is to know about relationships, but like I adore you, like you're the best.
Yeah, well, we had a great time. The truth is we had a really, really great time, barring that one moment where we almost killed each other.
Barring that. But for the most part, I say, we get along great.
I feel like everyone gets it. You have that moment. And I actually think with 2 small children, that moment is exaggerated. Because everything is so extreme with them, and you're tired, and we hadn't had coffee yet. I think we would have
mentioned the coffee if we had no coffee.
I think if I'd had a little bit of coffee in my system, I would have been able to handle that slightly better.
You also had no pants on. Remember, you forgot to wear pants.
I needed some pants.
She had no pants.
I had no pants.
But let me tell you about something.
So go into that.
She had pants on. She had pants on. Tell the world you had pants on.
I had pants on.
And by world, I mean
do generally wear pants.
Tell all 8 people you had pants on.
Actually, hundreds of people.
Hundreds of people.
Hundreds of people.
Yeah.
I had pants on.
Steph's
I
the
have pants
coolest.
on right now.
She's the coolest cat around. This is the kind of person who could watch like a mindless television with you like all day, and yet if you just stop it at any point and say, can you tell me every single thing that's happening in Azerbaijan right now? She'll be like, sure, these are the following 5 people that are in charge, this is what they're fighting about, this is what they want, this is what they're willing to give away. But you can fill in that blank with anything. She's so well read, well spoken. She I've never met anyone that can put sort of cohesive thoughts together and make me understand the world the way she can. I'm so proud of you.
Thanks, honey.
Except when you make a left instead of a right, when it was so obvious that if you just made a right, we would have gone past the club and you would have found a gas station.
If it had really been that obvious, then maybe you could have interjected in the moment.
Because you seem to know that you're right. You're always like, no,
But
trust
instead
me.
it became a
it's
problem
left.
when we took the left and then the child got sick. We could fight about it again. We can go over it one time.
No, we're good.
So your fans are actually asking a couple of questions.
Go ahead.
This one person is persisting in wanting to know who wins an arm wrestle when you guys arm wrestle.
Oh my God, I appreciate the question, but
Okay. What about a thumb wrestle?
I know she's got long, thin, beautiful, like model digits, and I've got Smurf hands.
I might actually win the thumb wrestle, but I'm not sure. She's sort of wily and sort of.
I'm what?
You're kind of wily, like you're.
Oh yeah. Like I'll find like
scrappy. Maybe is a better word.
Scrappy. But there's a lot of things she'll win. Most physical activities, I'd say I would win. Not all, most. She's a phenomenal skier. I'm a great water skier.
Who's better at golf?
I'm a good hiker.
She is a much better golfer.
I do play better.
Yeah, I don't even really understand the sport. Like, I don't even get it. I mean,
you're right. It's incredibly complicated.
it is. You have it's not like football where they lay everything out for you.
Football's 100 times more complicated
How
than
come?
golf.
Well, how
golf,
come
all you
it's-
do is you take a club out and you hit the ball.
What's with all the
towards small
words?
hole.
Oh, par, and then eagle, and then
So wait, so
one
it's-
over
it's-
par,
it's
and
the
then a
scoring.
bogey. Is one over par a bogey?
But at its fundamental,
Par bogey.
simplest form, golf is hit this small ball into a small hole.
Yeah,
Football
ridiculous.
is incredibly more complicated.
No, take this small ball and get it into a vast open space.
With all
That's
these players, and you can
regular.
toss it or you can run with it, you can't kick it.
How did you guys meet?
Through work.
Through work.
NBC.
That's the short answer. But in a slightly less than long, but longer than short answer, when we have various correspondents that are working in different bureaus all around the world, once a year they bring them in at different times because New York is the hub. New York City is sort of the hub. 30 Rock. They come in, they meet all the head honchos and the bosses, and so Stephanie was in. She was in for her month, and I met her at the last week of the month. We have a mutual friend. We all suggested we get lunch. We were both seeing other people at the time. I just thought she did great work, and obviously she was obsessed with my work. She couldn't get enough of it. She was like, I love your work. We had a great lunch, and we just sort of kept up the friendship and had this sort of ongoing, like, open line of communication, and then
there you have it.
that was it, basically.
5
Through
years,
work.
2 children.
5 years, 2 children, 1 bad fight at the Chinese monastery later.
Yes.
And here we are, sitting here talking.
Who needs the bigger cocktail at the end of the day?
This one. Plus, she needs the bigger cup of coffee first thing in the morning.
I know.
Yeah.
I have more vices than you.
You do. You
Yeah.
do. You definitely have more vices than I do.
And I was a smoker when I met you.
Yeah, and to which I said, if I see, there was no second chance with this. I'm such a health nut. I said,
Yeah.
it's one and done. That's it. One
Yeah.
cigarette, and I'm gone.
Yeah.
And you know what she did? I've never seen anything like it. She just said, poof. She
Yeah, I
just
quit.
gave him up one day,
I quit.
and she was done. I mean, what does that say about her willpower? I mean, could I have done that? I didn't even start smoking to begin with. But no, you were. It was amazing.
It was pretty good.
It was very good.
Yeah.
What else? That's a good question.
Good questions. Yeah.
All right. So anyway, this is what I do for when I drop out for 2 hours during the week. I come
That's
out
so
here and I
cool.
get to do this really
love it.
awesome Periscope, Twitter, cool show. I wanted to call it the Julia Roberts Show starring Jenna Wolfe, but people I just felt like that would just bring people in. Now, granted, when they got there, they'd be woefully disappointed,
It's
but it would
good.
draw people in. Instead, we
Yeah.
just went with Jenna Wolfe. It's,
Jennifer Lawrence.
or whatever. Yeah, really, the name doesn't matter. But thanks so much for hanging out.
Thanks for inviting me.
Is there anything else that we didn't cover?
No, I think that's good. I think everyone now can appreciate that I won that fight in the car.
You see what I go through all the time.
It's tough. It's tough being always right. But
Yeah.
you're very accommodating.
Oh yeah, the people here are saying it's nice to see that everybody goes through this.
Yes.
To a man and woman, every single person
To
goes
a
through
woman
it.
and woman.
To a woman and woman. Because if you
happens
don't,
regardless.
you're either lying or you're not in a lasting relationship.
Yeah, it's
and we
out there.
speak to couples all the time, and we just want to know. And someone said something very interesting to us this weekend, the couple we were with. Andy, he said, it's okay to fight as long as you learn something from it, right? And end up growing closer as a result of it.
Yeah.
learn something about yourself, learn something about what you're fighting about, learn something about the other person, and then it's okay. You sort of given the green light to go ahead and argue because it's human nature. It's
I
life.
also gauge the seriousness of a fight in the amount of time it takes you to laugh about it afterwards. If you can laugh about it pretty quickly, which I think we did,
Yeah.
You're good.
And you're getting better
If it takes too long to laugh about it,
not so good.
not so good.
But she used to hold on to that fight for like days and days. And then it turned
Days
into
is a bit of an exaggeration.
hours and hours. Not me. I think it's a Jewish thing, right? I think when I'm like halfway through the fight, I'm like,
I'm
forget
over
it.
it.
Who has the time? I have just no energy for this. Like, I'm over it.
Yeah,
Let's
I need
just
to
make
work
up.
it out.
No, it's not a Jewish thing. For you guys who are watching this, the person holding the phone, my dear beloved Lance, has been married 27 times and is Jewish. So maybe I am wrong in that. Maybe not. Who knows?
All right.
Anyway, you're
Have a
going to
good
go
show.
check on our little babies.
Yes, I am.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Had a great
You're
time.
welcome.
This
It's
is
fun to
awesome.
be here.
Yeah, I'm kind of
Enjoy.
amazing, aren't I?
Ah, fabulous.
The best.
Fabulous.
All right, we're going to take a break.
Yeah.
We'll be right back with my good friend Corey. You're going to love this. See you later.